Joining us now is Eleanor Lyons, the UK's Anti-Slavery Commissioner, who's launched the investigation. Good to have you with us. I appreciate you sharing your time. Just quoting you back to yourself for a second, adult service websites where you can go online, type in your postcode and find hundreds of women for sale are a hotbed for trafficking. It's a pretty chilling sentence.
It is chilling, and I think it's really hard to put into words the hardship that these victims of exploitation are facing. To put it in context, last year alone in the UK, there were over 5,000 women and girls who were identified as victims of sexual exploitation. And we know that's likely to be just the tip of the iceberg. They're the women that we've managed to identify. In fact, this number has been rising year on year. And part of the issue has been that the online world has made it easier for criminals and traffickers to identify and sell those victims of sexual exploitation online. And it is alarming that adult service websites are operating freely in the United Kingdom, allowing for victims of sexual exploitation to be advertised.
You say they're operating freely in the UK. Are they legally able to do so? And if so, where are the cracks in this operation that allow the potential for this exploitation to creep in?
I think it's a really good question. So we've had the Online Safety Act, and that does put some duties on adult service websites, but it's not enough. We need strong laws and regulations, and we also need those laws to be enforced properly. The fact of the matter is, at the moment, I speak to survivors of sexual exploitation as part of my work, and they tell me that they were advertised online against their will, that adult service websites were part of this exploitation. And so there are clear gaps, there are clear problems in this area, and we need the government to look at this more seriously, and we need to identify those issues so that we're helping victims of exploitation who are going through some really horrific things on a day-to-day basis in communities right across the country.
I said in the introduction you're launching an investigation. When is that investigation taking place, and when will the findings be shared?
So as part of this investigation, I'm going to speak to survivors themselves, survivors who've been advertised on these adult service websites. I'm speaking to law enforcement, I'm speaking to Ofcom, and I'm also mapping across adult service websites, and there are hundreds in the United Kingdom, to identify where the hotbeds of exploitation are. I will then be publishing these findings and calling on the government to do more to make sure that these websites are more heavily regulated and that they are doing all they can to make sure that women and girls are properly protected, because they're not being at the moment.
Provisionally, when should we expect that report? Later this year, 2026, or even further?
Hopefully this report will become available later this year, but it's a survivor-led report, and I want to make sure that survivors have the opportunity to share in a trauma-informed manner their experiences of exploitation. I think it's really important that we carry out this work as quickly as I can, along with partners and stakeholders, because we know that this is a real issue happening at the moment, and thousands of women every year are being sexually exploited, with adult service websites being used to advertise them.
The adult service websites, you say there's hundreds of them. To what degree are you already getting cooperation from them? To what degree are they looking to try and take steps to safeguard people that use those websites? What's their status at the moment?
So there's a whole range of adult service websites. Like I said, there are hundreds of them operating in the United Kingdom. Some of them take their obligations more seriously when they identify a victim of trafficking online. So some of the signs they will look out for is a woman who's being advertised with the same language as another female in a different part of the country, multiple women being advertised under the same phone number, which indicates they're under one person's control. And also punters, after they've been to visit these women, writing in their reviews that they saw signs of control and coercion. Some of the platforms are reporting that to law enforcement and taking their duties seriously. But I also know that other platforms are ignoring those red flags of trafficking. So it's important that all platforms that operate in the United Kingdom play some basic ethical role in protecting and safeguarding women who are being sexually exploited.
Eleanor Lyons, the UK's Anti-Slavery Commissioner. Really appreciate you sharing your time on a Sunday afternoon.
Thank you
So much.